you are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so.
Hello, this is Nancy Heins-Glaser with Meet the Artists here at SOMAtv, and I'm totally excited tonight. I have more people on the stage than I've ever had, all room full of artists. We're here tonight to talk about a special exhibit coming up at the Piro called Reaching Out and Reaching In, and highlighting the wonderful artists and art teachers, one and the same, within our community. Hi guys.
Hi. How are you?
We have somebody from each grade, each elementary, secondary, high school, 2 from high school. We have a wonderful person, Susan, who's a community liaison for the exhibit. And I really want to start out talking about the exhibit, if we could, Susan. So I'm going to put you on first, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'm a longtime volunteer, as you know, with the Piro Gallery. And it was really a no-brainer for us to have this exhibit of the faculty of the school district. Because really, when you think about it, the school district is part of the gallery, and it has been for a long time. We've had workshops in the schools. We've had the schools come to the gallery. We've had curriculum crossover from the school, from the exhibitions. We've also had teachers and students involved as volunteers in the gallery and on our executive board and on our exhibition committee. So it was a no-brainer to say, okay, we're going to show the artwork of these wonderful artists that we have in the community that are teaching our kids in the school. We're really excited about it. We've got, in addition to the fine art, visual art, I should say, faculty, we have some music faculty that are going to be doing a performance at the opening of the the exhibition. The exhibition, first of all, I have to do the plug. It runs from January 17th through February 21st, and it opens on the 17th. And from 2:30 to 3 o'clock, we're going to have some of the music faculty do from, Beethoven to Beatles. Mm-hmm. They're going to do some performances, and then after that we'll have our regular reception, and we hope to have a lot of people there. In addition to that, there's other programming on Thursday, February 4th from 7 to 9 p.m. Boris Gavrilovic, the film teacher at the high school, is going to be showing his full-length feature film, which we're all really excited to see. It's called My Life as an Underdog, and it's a documentary about a wonderful artist, which is totally appropriate.
It's a performance artist. I've actually been lucky enough to see it. I saw it last year when he was entering it into contest, so I'm looking forward to seeing it again. But what I'm excited about, and I think really why this is so neat to me, is I'm married to a long time, 35-year art teacher in the classroom, and my life has been immersed in developing lesson plans. I don't do any of them, but I hear about it, I share it with them, the exploration, our travels, it's all related to creating great lessons. And I know one of the things, I can go to any classroom at any of the schools and find amazing art. And I know the kids do the art, and some of the teachers have art alongside for representation. But what you see comes from you all. And when I walk into, for instance, a middle school, the big cases out front, fancy masks, everything, I can say, oh my goodness, are we lucky? And I sort of would like to hear from you about what it's like to be part of the arts community and teach here. And why don't I just start with you in the elementary school? You're at Tuscan, right, in Maplewood?
I've been at Tuscan for 20 years. I've been in this community. I live here for 30 years. And I'm just really lucky to have colleagues that are all artists as well as art teachers. I think one of the things about our district is that when they hire, they do look to see that you're a practicing artist. It makes a big difference in what you give the students because you draw from your own knowledge and you're still experiencing what's new, and so you have that energy and that vitality to give to the children. And I think, you know, with the elementary, it's like Picasso said, all children are born artists. The trouble is staying one as you grow up. Mm-hmm. So I'm very lucky to have all these young artists, and they're very excited. And when I show them something for the first time, I'm really happy and lucky to do that.
And that you're Joellen Petronzi. I didn't even introduce you. I'm very sorry. I just got excited about the art too. And I'm going to go now to middle school, if you don't mind. This is Ellen Hark, whose work I've been seeing for a number of years. I actually have your tape from 4 years ago in my car. But anyway, tell us about your experience now in working at the middle school.
Well, I'm so glad I'm with a lot of senior members of the art staff. I have been at South Orange Middle School now for going on 24 years. I am still in the 8th grade. They won't let me out of there. I love the middle school. I'm probably a little bit crazy from it, but the energy that they have at that age is just wonderful if you can channel it and have it come out through the arts, either two-dimensional, three-dimensional, in ceramics, painting, drawing. They love it. They love it. Mosaics, anything that they can get their hands on. They do run to the art room, and I still, after almost 24 years, still run every morning. We do everything. We have 2 art teachers at the school, Lisa McPherson and myself, and we teach every single student in the school. And they get art quite a bit. They get art for 2 semesters, and it's a studio. We don't do 1 week class, 1 week projects. Our projects are pretty meaty. And I have this adage that if I don't love it, we're not going to do it. If I'm not excited about it, then the kids won't be excited. And so I'm constantly reinventing the wheel here. And I don't know if you want us to get into
Well, I'd love to.
the marriage of what we do and what I do with the students.
I am interested in knowing how your own work affects the teaching and how your teaching affects your own work. I would really go right ahead and say something.
All right.
You're on a roll,
I'll jump
Ellen.
right in.
Not stop.
Well, about 7 years ago, I got into mosaics, and it just appealed to me because it doesn't cost anything as long as you can find broken pieces of pots and ceramics and stones and beans, and this was something I had been doing for many, many years, and I just started to put the word out. I needed broken dishes, and so I would come home every day and somebody would leave me a nice little package of something broken, and they would cry a little, and I would try to put it back together again, but in a different genre. And so I'm doing this professionally, and I decided, okay, let's do it with students. And so I applied for a SOMA grant last year, and I had my students make 7 life-size figures that are now a permanent installation in the school. And
Mosaics.
I taught mosaics, yes, they're large figures, and we used everything from broken locks that the kids found on the floor and antique cell phones. They were, 5 years old?
Like mine,
Right, exactly. And they put them together, and I stood and watched my students cut glass and cut ceramics, and and then we cut our fingers. But we learned this ancient art and gave it a modern spin.
And gifted it to the rest of
And
us,
gifted
because
it
we
to
can
the
now
rest.
see it all.
But it was a gift from SOMA in order, it did cost some money. You know, we did have to purchase wood and glues and adhesives and cement and things like that. But we're pretty proud of it.
Well, we have to all be looking. I mean,
Yes,
I'm sure
come-
now people are
come
going to
and
pay
visit.
attention. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's an example of your work. And we
Yes,
also
yes.
have wonderful examples. That's Joellen's work. I didn't even get into that whole thing, the medium, but Keith, I'm going to go to you next because I think a lot of people know your work from installations through town, and they've seen them through periodic placements here. And I also understand you have a piece at, is it the South Amboy train station or somewhere in New
It's in process
Transit?
now, but I
In
yeah,
process.
yeah, but I do have some other projects with New Jersey Transit.
Yeah, and you came to teaching differently. You came
I
in
did. I didn't intend to be a teacher, but I found that it worked incredibly well with. It just jibes very well with making your own work. And like Joellen, spoke of, I found that the stimulation that doing my own work can give my teaching, and that teaching can give my own work, has been a really happy marriage. Yeah. Originally my background was in design, and I had even considered going to school for architecture, and my degrees are in sculpture. So I was busy doing that, and then when I decided to look for a full-time teaching job in New Jersey, I went with a program called the Alternate Route Certification Program. And that was terrific because I was able to work actually while Joellen was abroad having a sabbatical. I filled in for her, and that year I earned my certification. And I've been in the district with a couple of minor exceptions ever since. So it was a great way to get into teaching. I very much wanted to teach in my own community. My kids go to school here, and I feel a real strong connection to the community. And I think actually, in addition to all of us being artists, a number of us are community members, and that adds tremendous strength to the faculty of our department in the district.
Absolutely, and I think, I'm going next to Ellen because she's kind of you're our liaison at the exhibit at the Piero,
Right.
with the rest of the faculty.
Mm-hmm.
And Susan's been the liaison for the Piero with you and through the faculty. And I think what's been interesting to me is, of course, I think I know everybody's work that's in the room, which is wonderful to me to be able to say. And I've known your work as well. And you have one right next to you, actually.
Right.
And so just tell us a little bit about how this came to be, how it felt to you, and we're going to talk a little bit more about why this is all happening. But how did it feel to participate in setting this up with your fellow teachers, with Susan and Piero?
It's been a lot of fun. I think that we, in the daily hubbub of doing our jobs, we don't get to see so much of what each other's work looks like. We're all spread out all over the district, and really we don't get together more than once or twice a year as a faculty. So as I was collecting work from everybody, it was fun to see who was doing what and what the choices people were making in terms of what they were submitting to be in the art show. It was fun for me to kind of oversee that. And to work with Susan. I've been also a volunteer at the Piero, and actually my first job in the district was Judy Wookich, who's our director of the Piero Gallery, hired me to be an artist in residence at Marshall School, and that's actually how I started getting my foot in the door. Well, actually, I was first a parent volunteer at Clinton School when my kids were there. Then Judy got me to be an artist in residence, and then I started teaching at Marshall and was there for many years. So I feel like I am a longtime resident. I've been involved with the Piero in the schools for a long time, and so I echo what Kate said, that the commitment to the community, to the arts in the community, we feel very lucky to have all of that kind of happening for us.
Well, we're going out to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about why this exhibit's happening too, and a little bit more about our special, wonderful arts teachers and our art community. And don't turn that dial. Please come back and hear more about our wonderful arts and education right here in South Orange, Maplewood. Thanks for joining us so far. Don't go away.
Because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well.
Is your home in foreclosure? During the current financial crisis, as many as 60,000 New Jersey homeowners will go through foreclosure. If you need help, now's time to get connected to the new statewide foreclosure mediation program. Housing counselors and mortgage mediators are available to help work out a payment you can afford with your lender.
I met with the housing counselor and they helped me save my home. They can help you too.
Their father's help did slowly go by. And
Welcome back. Nancy Heins-Glaser with Meet the Artists and our wonderful art teachers, highlighting Reaching Out, Reaching In at the Piero Gallery, an exhibit by our art teachers in the district. And Susan, I'm going to go back to you if you don't mind. There's a reason the title was chosen. There's more to be said about it, and there's also an exhibit going on in conjunction at Gallery 1978, right? Can you fill us in on all that? Because we're going to hear more from the ladies around here too, but fill us in a bit about the gallery and why this is happening, really.
I'm going to let Ellen talk about reaching out, reaching in, because that was her title, and I think she's got her reasoning behind it. I understand it as reaching out to the community and also reaching into and reaching out to the students and reaching into themselves as artists. But I think she can probably elaborate on that also. I did want to mention that we have a lot of wonderful venues for art, community art, as you know, in this town. And coincidentally, it wasn't planned, but there's going to be an exhibit of AP art students.
Advanced placements, art students.
And Art 4.
And Art 4.
And Art 4, I didn't know that. Of about 20 students. And Larry McKim is the teacher, and he's also in Reaching Out, Reaching In. And that is running it's starting this Sunday, which is March 20th. And it's running through January 24th. So there's a little bit.
Is it December or March?
What did I say? March?
And what year? No, I mean, we don't have to say the year.
What did I
No, I know December 20th.
December.
It's okay.
Sorry.
And they don't even really like us to date the shows anyway, so that's okay.
Oh, okay. All right. In any case, there's going to be some overlap. So we're going to do some cross-pollination there and cross advertising.
And which is really terrific, because then you can see some of the work product, I think, that comes from at least Larry, who's one of the teachers on exhibit too. So, all right, you're on now, Ellen.
Okay.
Tell us about that title.
All right, well,
How did
that title, we were brainstorming, and it just kind of came to me. What we do every day is reach out to the students. We also reach out to the community. I know that when I was at Marshall School, I did a lot of community-based projects that are permanent exhibits Ellen has. We all have done that in our jobs one way or another. So we're reaching out all the time. And I think the thing that's harder for us is to find the time to reach in, to replenish ourselves, to take the time. We cherish our summers, but hopefully it's not just art that takes place in the summers, although that's lovely because we have an intense work period where we can really focus and get rejuvenated with our own artwork. But hopefully a lot of that process does continue on within the school year. It's just not as relaxing. So we're reaching out to the students on a daily basis in groups, as individuals, whatever we can do to really pull the best from them. And then we have to take the time to reach in to our own selves and do our own creativity, which then hopefully feeds back into what we're doing in the classroom. I think everybody basically expressed it. I just tried to find a quick way of saying it. And I almost saw the title as a continuum, reaching out, reaching in, reaching out, reaching in, back and forth, because one thing really feeds the other.
And the reason this exhibit's happening too is to give a big shout out, because our district, high school in particular, as I understand it, was one of 3 schools or school districts in the state of New Jersey to be recognized as an artist school of excellence. And that's pretty amazing when you look at the amount of art that's out there and the amount of schools producing out and the amount of our teachers. How was it that the school came to be recognized? I just find it amazing. Does anyone know the process? Or I'm sure, I know it's true that it should be one of those 3 schools, but how? Who gave the award and
Well, part of the process was it was not just visual arts, it was fine arts, and that also included dance and theater, which is not part of our department, but so actually our supervisor, Nick Santoro, in addition to the supervisor for phys ed, which would cover dance, Judy Lobianco, and then I guess something coming from the English department, which would cover the theater, that they really had to compile everything we do in the school here. It was a high school award. But the fact is that, and it also involved how much community support, community involvement, dedication to the arts. That was a component of it. So I think there was a lot of paperwork just compiling the number of students that are involved in the arts in the high school and how the community is involved, and the amount of courses that we have, the kind of depth that we have. And the fact is, even though it was model school of the arts for the high school, we couldn't do what we do if we weren't building on what starts in the elementary and works its way and then goes to the middle. And we know that, and since I've been lucky enough to be on both ends, since I started at elementary and then made a big leap to the high school, I know how important the groundwork is that happens. So the award went to the high school, but I think that as a district we are extremely committed, and the importance of the art to everyone in the school district, I think, is recognized by this, and hopefully we will continue to maintain the level that we do.
And to the rest of us, actually, who are the beneficiaries. If we just take a look around or have an opportunity to go to a gallery, and we are really quite lucky. And I do know that the community participation was a feature in considering the model school for the arts, because the parents and the kids' friends and the grandparents and everybody does have an emphasis and a belief, at least through my experience, those that I come in contact with, that it's really important. Buildings fall and art lives forever. I mean, this is just my general view. But so I think what this represents to me as a person who goes to every artist studio tour, pretty much every gallery opening in our immediate area, is really recognition, a culmination, a coming together, a connecting the dots with community, with kids, with teachers, with parents, with galleries. And so I'm excited about it. And of course, I've always believed that those that can't teach do, instead of the other way around. Born educators are very tough to find. And so they deserve all the accolades known to me. And I don't know, I think the gallery acknowledging it too. Both galleries acknowledging that, but Gallery 1978 in Imperial. Now, Susan, you've been involved in the gallery, pretty much since its inception. Is that right?
It's about 15 years.
Yeah, I know,
That's
long
right.
time.
Yeah.
Is this sort of the first time you've seen it evolve to this connectedness? I know the gallery's been doing outreach. I know the kids come to the gallery. I've been there when they've come. The teachers make lesson plans based on some of the artwork that's there. Some of the things that are planned for the classroom in the future. But this just really feels like it's pulled together, like in a nice loop for me.
This may be the first time that we actually reached out into the community and invited a group like the teachers to show. A lot of the artists, coincidentally, in the exhibit have shown it at Pura, because they are artists who have applied to our portfolio review process and been accepted and been part of some of our juried exhibits and really part of the gallery. And during break, I heard someone behind me mention that they really owe a lot to the gallery for having the job that they have now, because we have an artist in residency program that started here by the director of the gallery now. And I think it was through that. Yeah, it was through that. I mean, I don't know if they want to speak to that a little bit. But it seems to have come full circle, where there's really an integration and a crossover in the art community and the school district.
And that's exciting. I know certainly Gallery 1978 it's the 1978 Art Center, I believe.
Maplewood Art
Thank you.
Center,
I'll never get it right. It's okay. I can't remember your husband's name either. So, but anyway, I feel like it's acknowledgement on both sides. The artists really do appreciate the opportunity to exhibit. The galleries really appreciate the artists, and we all appreciate you teaching the next generation.
Thank you.
Because without you doing it, where will we be? I know I had a chance to get an email from Larry McKim, who's doing the advanced placement exhibit over at Gallery 1978. And what he said is neat, too, is the opportunity that kids are getting to exhibit in a real space, understand what that's about. Sort of like coming here to work in the TV station, right, guys? It's a real station. And kids in the high school learn how to work in a TV station in the TV station. And there's something to that. It's a connection in another way of learning. Is there something you wanted to say? Because I heard Susan say somebody wanted to say something about an artist in residence program. Anybody want to share with
Well,
that?
I was just realizing, as Ellen described her start in the school district, that's how I came to the school district as well, as was an artist in residence through Judy Wukich, who's done a tremendous amount for the arts in our community.
Yes.
And she and the gallery very much continue to. We've started some new programs this year that have been really exciting partnerships between the Piro Gallery and the school. I teach advanced placement art history, and so some of my students who are now teaching assistants and have been through the course and done well and came back for more got to join in with the juror this year of the Essex Exposed show, which is an annual show of artists from Essex County, and watch how a show gets juried and how a curator actually curates. So that was a terrific experience. We've had some other visits with the gallery that are now going to become part of the regular beginning art curriculum in the high school, kind of an art appreciation component. And I think, in some ways what all of us have touched on is that the importance of art to this district, and the reason that we're here and that we choose to teach here and to make art here and to live here is that making art provides a way of understanding how to go about critical thinking and how to go about solving problems, how to go about seeing the world in a way that is not the traditional way that rote learning and traditional classroom education offers. Not to say that that's the only kind of thing that goes on here by any means, but because students have this tremendous exposure to art in the district from elementary through middle to high school, and in the high school so many different choices of what they can do with it, they learn how to approach problems and the world and in a much more creative manner. And there's been lots and lots of research saying that the students who are exposed to that and who are able to partake of that do much better in the long run, not only in education but in life. So I think that's a big part of what we do.
That. I'm sold. Where do I sign up? I can't believe it. I have like a minute left or something. I'm confused by that. But anyway, just where to go. Joellen, would either of you like to say something else? Because
Well, I just wanted to also thank SOMA, which is the union who gives out the sabbaticals, which I received one year and really changed my life because I had a year to study the art of ancient Greece and to learn how to work in encaustic, which is a hot wax method, and the painting over there is done in encaustic. And I continue to travel now. It started me off, and I'm just thankful that, along with the Board of Education, I was approved for a sabbatical.
Well, we're all done, and I've got to say goodbye, and I'm upset about it. So everybody's got to take a look around at the art that's in your life, the teachers that are in your kids' lives, and how much richer we all are. And I want to thank you guys for joining us on Meet the Artists. Thank you for joining us too, out there in the audience. We'll see you again.
Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh.